You know the exact feeling. It's 2 a.m., your phone lights up with a text reading, "I ruined everything again," and your pulse instantly quickens. You mistake this adrenaline for passion. You mistake their chaotic, erratic outbursts for emotional depth. But think about what happens when you actually meet someone functional. When a stable person replies promptly, remembers small details about your day, and communicates without starting a screaming match, your skin crawls. You leave them on read. You tell your friend that there just isn't a spark. Let me validate your exhaustion. You are genuinely burnt out from carrying the psychological weight of 2 human lives. But this exhaustion is entirely self-inflicted by your own subconscious programming. You are not a victim of a terrible dating market, but a willing participant in toxic dynamics. By the end of this video, you will be forced to confront a brutal reality about your own dark psychology. I am going to expose why you are terrified of healed people and why your compassion requires immediate shadow work. You do not seek love. You seek a hostage situation disguised as a rescue mission. Society loves to applaud the eternal fixer. They slap labels on you like empath or caretaker. When you sit quietly through a 3-hour monologue about their trauma while your own dinner goes cold on the table, you tell yourself you are simply performing the necessary heavy lifting of a relationship, generously paying their overdue phone bills, or meticulously drafting their apologies to estranged family members. You wear this grinding emotional exhaustion like a badge of honor. But let's strip away the romanticized gloss of self-sacrifice. When you gently correct their life choices over morning coffee or offer unsolicited career advice masked as just looking out for you, you are not being supportive. You are establishing dominance. To truly diagnose this dark psychology, we must look directly at Friedrich Nietzsche's concept of the will to power. Nietzsche theorized that the fundamental human drive is not survival or pleasure, but the relentless desire to exert influence and control over our environment. Apply this harsh lens to your romantic life. Your obsessive need to help is a highly sophisticated form of subconscious programming. By positioning yourself as a soul rescuer, you manufacture a strict, unbreakable psychological hierarchy. You get to play the omniscient God, and they are permanently reduced to the flawed, dependent mortal who cannot function without your divine intervention. You do not want an equal partner. You want a subservient project. Think about the subtle, chilling shift in your own tone when they actually start making real progress. When they finally land a job or set a healthy boundary, a flash of cold anxiety spikes in your chest. You offer a stiff, fake smile that never reaches your eyes. You immediately scan for a new flaw to highlight, a new crisis to micromanage, or drop a passive-aggressive joke about their past failures to keep them grounded in self-doubt. Compassion fueled by superiority is just manipulation wearing a mask of pity. You need them to stay broken so you can remain on your pedestal. Let's expose the invisible psychological contract you force your partners to sign the moment you decide to save them. You consciously claim you want them to get better. You look them in the eyes and say, "I just want you to be happy," while sighing heavily and scrubbing the kitchen counters they promised to clean 3 days ago. But underneath that performance of martyrdom lies a calculated, ruthless transaction. You unconsciously choose severely damaged people because their brokenness acts as the ultimate insurance policy against your deepest fear. A paralyzed, incompetent partner cannot walk away. If they remain entirely dependent on you to manage their calendar, mediate their petty family feuds, and regulate their explosive moods, they will never possess the strength to abandon you. You are literally trading genuine, unpredictable intimacy for a predictable hostage situation disguised as romance. Real love requires 2 whole individuals standing on equal ground, exposing their flaws and risking absolute rejection. You cannot stomach that level of vulnerability, so you stack the deck in your favor. You engage in quiet manipulation, subtly ensuring they stay just dysfunctional enough to desperately need your intervention. This brings us to the terrifying reality you have been running from your entire adult life. You are not a savior. You are a parasite feeding on their dysfunction. You aggressively use their blazing, dramatic chaos to drown out the agonizing, deafening silence of your own internal emptiness. If you spend every waking second agonizing over their latest mistake, their binge drinking, or their poor financial decisions, you never have to sit alone in a quiet room and face your own hollow reflection. People who obsess over fixing others are simply running from the ruins of their own minds. You stubbornly prefer this familiar suffering over the cure because the cure requires complete ego death. Stripping away your identity as a perpetual rescuer will leave you feeling utterly useless, invisible, and deeply unlovable. Who are you if you aren't the designated crisis manager? Who are you if the friend who only calls during crises suddenly stops calling? You secretly harbor the dark belief that without your extreme utility to broken people, you have zero inherent worth as a human being. This is exactly why you subconsciously sabotage their growth. You provoke confusing, exhausting arguments over a slightly delayed text message just to have the supreme privilege of magnanimously forgiving them. You continuously lend them money you know they will never pay back, just to silently hold eternal debt over their head like a weapon. You need these toxic dynamics to survive your own insecurities. You would much rather endure the soul-crushing weight of a parasitic relationship than face the terrifying prospect of standing completely alone, stripped of your armor, with no one left to fix but yourself. It is time to brutally sever the cord. You must stop pointing fingers at the emotionally stunted partners who drain your energy. They are simply acting in accordance with their nature. You are the one handing them the key to your house and leaving the vault wide open. Radical responsibility means accepting that your perpetual exhaustion is entirely self-imposed. The counterintuitive mental framework to dismantle this pathology is horrifyingly simple, yet it will make your skin crawl to execute. You must become aggressively useless to broken people. When your partner texts you a cryptic, self-pitying paragraph about how the whole world is against them, do not immediately draft a 5-part essay solving their entire life. You simply type back, "That sounds really tough," and you put the phone face down on the table. You let the heavy silence hang in the air. You let them sit in their own manufactured discomfort without rushing in with a digital Band-Aid. The sudden absence of a crisis will feel like a terrifying chemical withdrawal in your own brain, but you must resist the urge to intervene. If they miss their morning alarm, you let them sleep in and face the wrath of their boss. If they pick a screaming fight just to soothe their own chaotic anxiety, you stare at them blankly, grab your keys, and walk out the front door. You must ruthlessly strip away your utility. But understand this harsh reality. Gaining this level of awareness will instantly trigger an agonizing period of deep, punishing isolation. The people who comfortably relied on your endless emotional labor will immediately turn on you. They will call you cold, selfish, and arrogant. They will play the victim to mutual friends, painting you as a villain who callously abandoned them in their darkest hour. The friends who only call to dump their daily trauma onto your shoulders will stop calling altogether. Your phone will go painfully, uncomfortably quiet. Let it. This silence is not a punishment. It is a highly necessary eviction notice to the emotional parasites in your life. You are finally cutting off the supply of manipulation that kept you spiritually bankrupt for years. True freedom begins the exact moment you let someone else's crisis collapse without you. You must tolerate the excruciating loneliness of being completely unnecessary to others until you finally learn how to be necessary to yourself. Stop using their burning house to stay warm. To truly heal, you must trade the intoxicating illusion of control for the terrifying reality of radical self-reliance. This video barely scratches the surface of the dark psychology you employ every single day. If you are ready to dissect the specific, covert tactics we use to dominate our partners under the guise of caring, click the link below to access my exclusive Patreon breakdown, The Power Dynamic Matrix. If you are finally ready to drop the savior mask and face your own unbearable emptiness, comment the exact phrase, ego death, down below to signal your shift to the algorithm. Subscribe to the Psyche Horizon to join a collective that refuses to hide behind comfortable lies.